Hello, namaste, peace warriors and friends. How are you today? It is very calming energy with the clouds and the ending of the season of the winter and the beginning of the season of the spring. Um, it's a transitional kind of time, and it's a true metaphor for what we're going through as a human race. We're transitioning into a new era and a new season. So the transition, sometimes change is hard, but it's inevitable, right? It's the one thing that is often said is it's the only thing you can rely on is change. The only thing that's constant is change, right? So um, the guides and angels gave the word of finality today, which that's an interesting transition from change to finality, because with change there's not really any final ending, it just morphs. And you know how energy um, doesn't dissipate, it just changes form, right? You never lose energy. So that is interesting how that came about with that transition. But so finality and how they downloaded that to me is that we are often as humans concerned about things ending, and one of the biggest things we're concerned about that's ending is our life. The death is coming to an end and the season is coming to an end. I just love the synchronicities of how these words and how things fall into place when I do these messages. So their message was, so first off, just to be clear, the messages that they give us and the words that they give me are all to help us in our the place we find ourselves as a human, in our human condition. So, in the human condition, they have uh, notated the fear that they're seeing of finality when it comes to us as humans. So then, what I was thinking about was when they gave me that word was, you know, when things come to end, like when I have all my family together, and it's so good, and I love them, or my friends, and I love them, and I really don't want it to end. Or when I was a child and I do a Christmas, break to end, that kind of thing. Their point is that the big one, our death, there's no such thing as death. There's no finality in death. Our energy just changes form. The energy of the soul gets released into our higher position and our higher soul, into the heavenly planes. And we shed, like a snake, we shed this body and we enter a new body, or the body that's really ours. It's often said that this is the dream, and not the reality. And our etheric life is the reality. So the message was, the finality is not the finality. The final ending that we're feeling and dreading and afraid of our life is an illusion. And then the other part of that is going back to not wanting the certain things in my life to end. This is what I'm thinking through, a wonderful time with my friends, a wonderful vacation, a beautiful day, a beautiful sunset. Oh, how I love sunrises and sunsets. And they're gone so quickly, but I could just want to capture that moment. Their point is that moment always, we're infinite beings. We are infinite beings. There's no finality, and every moment is an infinite moment, and we can touch back on it. There's no such thing as time. It's a frequency. So when, for instance, if we're in the heavenly plane and we're reminiscing about this life we're in right now, and we're remembering that sunset. Like, oh my gosh, those beautiful sunsets of Freedom Field here at Milo Farm. So I sit up on Sunset Shelf and I watch sunsets so often, especially in the summer. And like, I can go back to that because that sunset isn't, it's still here. It's still here now because there's no such thing as time. There's no finality. I can go, so I can remember it right now in this body. I can go back. The memories can go back and make me smile. The memories of these holidays with my family, that warm, I'm just remembering that now in my, like, you know, my whole body. It feels love right now. So like remembering like family gatherings and like how wonderful that is to me. I can remember that, but when we become step into back into our higher selves, we can go into that moment anytime. And if you've heard of the word Akashic records or the concept Akashic records, it's the same kind of thing. Like it's not, things are just don't disappear. Every thought that was thought, every moment that was captured, everything that was felt can be embraced, and you can go back to it. It's like an encyclopedia of your life, everyone's life, of the ant's life, of this flame, you know, the fire, you know, life. It's every moment we can go back to it. It's a frequency. So like we can learn to um, touch on anything, and that's people that are, you know, educated in Akashic records. But as we go into our heavenly life, we can go back to that sunset and be there, be there. Yes. So the most important thing for us is to know we're infinite beings. There's no finality, and to be here now, because the more we're here now, the more we can feel into this, and we can go back to this moment again. Okay, I love that. You know, since I learned that concept, or really, it's not learned it, I kind of embraced it and understood and lived it, and the concept that we're infinite beings, I'm an infinite being, and nothing dies. There's nothing that's final. No thing is final. You know, it just made life like, I'm not afraid. I do get melancholy, and you know, sad that things are over. But I not as much, you know, because I know that it's not. You know, it's now. It's happening now, and I can go back to it. Okay, so Milo Farm Oracle card. Let's see what the guides and angels have to say about finality. Isn't everything perfect in the universe? So, numerology, number is 18. If you add that together, that's a number 9. What is 9? It's the finality number. It is the final number. It's the number of like completion. And their message is there's completions. You complete things, but always a completion is the start of something new. You shut a door and the new door opens. It's a have to happen. It has to happen is this 3D reality for our life circumstances. But know that it's not a final end. Fireside full moon. So it was just a full moon a few days ago. Oh, and that's another thing they're showing me is like, you know, often people are like, embrace the full moon, you know, do my full moon ceremonies, or like all, you know, all of these rituals around the full moon, or even just like, I want to go see the full moon. Well, there's always another. Like, don't feel, if that didn't happen, then it wasn't meant to happen. Don't feel that it was wrong, that a ceremony or something didn't happen with a full moon. Fire. It's funny that I brought up fire. So the fire has a consciousness too, and fire is always telling us a story. And now we're getting back into camping season and being outdoors, and that's beautiful. And like, we're going to be building these fires and sitting by them with friends. They're saying listen and watch the fire. you know, there's messages in the fire. And oh, that the fire is always burning. So there's no finality in fire either. It's always burning. Even though you feel like you start one up again and start, but there's always like this burning. They're showing me the burning of the fires within us, like as a representation of our soul. So they're saying that the fire of our soul is infinite. There's no finality of it. And that is the energy behind us, is that fire. And steps to completion. So you know, the message is don't stop the steps to completion, because in this 3D reality we're learning things as we're completing one cycle, as we're ending one sunset. You know, feel into that and appreciate that, and don't just because we know that it's not final, you know, still give gratitude to and embrace the experiences that we're having. So, of course, we got the number 9 today, and finality. So, it's lovely to know that you're all infinite beings and there is no final end to it all. We're constantly learning and evolving, as is everything, including God's source and the divine. So I am excited to spend this infinite life with you. Thank you for listening and watching. Namaste. And just know, like, it's nothing ever ends. Isn't that great? Okay. Love you. But this winter is ending for now. We're going into spring. Okay. Namaste.